First meditation, I would like to investigate or explore the object of refutation, the object of negation. So that which is found to be non-existent. The I, the me, the myself. And as in the example of the banana, in order to say there's no banana on this table, I need to know what a banana is. Otherwise, I can't not find the banana if I don't know what a banana is. So this is a very important thing. So before we, go into other things around no self, first we need to not only understand but really experience or feel that which does not exist. So that which does not exist, so the self which is being refuted in these teachings as illusionary, as non-existent, has three characteristics. First, it's permanent. Yeah? So that's like this aspect, this sense that the I who came here this morning is the same I which is sitting now here. And it's actually the same I which experienced your childhood. Yeah? So that's the permanence, that's the first. The second, it's separated, so it's something extra. So we are not refuting the body, we are not refuting the feelings, we are not refuting the social self, we are not refuting the personality, we are not refuting the habits. That object of refutation is something extra. It's not the body and it's not the mind. Yeah? So it's separate. It exists by itself, as if it's a rider on the horse. And it shows in our language. We say, I have a body. And you could say, nah, that's just words. I am my body. Yeah, but it's the same. There's the I and there's the body. So this is very important. I mean, this is one of the insights here you should have in this life. Because now in this life we have the opportunity. So this is not like philosophical talk or some kind of strange philosophy or something which has nothing to do with my life. How does this help me with my problems? Yeah, it helps because it's my problems because we make up an I who has problems. So it's very practical. And one doesn't need to read 10 books about it. Yeah. So it's permanent and it's separate. We say, I have a body. I wish I would have a younger body. And it's not only that we say that, there is an instinctive feeling that there is that I, the owner of the body. I have eyes. So what is that? Yeah, the body has eyes. Yes, there are eyes. But we say, I have eyes. They are special eyes because they are my eyes. They are the most important eyes in the universe because they are my eyes. And when something happens to them, I have a problem. So autonomous, existing by itself, self-powered, inherently. So that's the second characteristic. And the third one is it's singular. We are talking about one. Yeah? We are not talking about the internal family system. That's there. There's the different processes, mental factors, that's going on. That's not the object of refutation. That would be so stupid to refute that, because it's so obvious that it exists. I mean, then if you go deeper into the emptiness teachings, then we start to investigate the parts. So we start to investigate, okay, the internal family system, let's look at it, and then you also don't find that. But we don't need to go there. Yeah, so this is not, so the insight into the no self is not that profound. We could even be like a complete materialist and thinking, everything exists, there's the world, there's this body, and really it's made out of matter, and so on and so on. And we still could do this meditation. Yeah. We could still believe that the body really exists. Yeah. And on this level of the meditation, we can keep it like that. So only what we refute, there's something extra which we put into this, our experience, through concepts, through labels. Yeah? But it's not only stories, it's a felt sense in the body, so it's a mixture of something you feel. In a way, you could say it's a contraction in the body, a contraction in the subtle body. But that's not the only problem. The only problem, and that will continue for a while, even after you have realized no self, that contraction. But what will cease is that you will identify with it. You are not going to call it I anymore. You are not. You will not feel. So there's a contraction happening in the universe. It's happening to nobody. It happens in many. It happens in many. How can I say it? In many beings. But it's not so permanent, separate, and one. It's one. And when we start to reflect on it, it's strange because many different aspects or members of our internal family system, they change to drive the car. Yeah? So in the morning you are the mother, then you become the professional, then you have a crisis, then you're 3 years old, and all the time you feel it's I. Yeah, it's me. It's I. Somehow we manage to keep the illusion of that separate, solid, singular I throughout all these different stages of our day or of our life. We keep that alive. So that is what is being refuted. That is what is being seen as illusionary. And this is it. It's quite simple. So read some neuropsychology. Read this from different angles, different teachers saying the same thing. It will become very obvious. Don't make it too complicated. And of course, resistance is to be expected, because the narrative self wants to keep the illusion that there's an I.
Right.
That's what it is. That's how it lives. So it sees, well, this will be my hand. If you see it like as an entity, it is not really. But if it, if it's like if you would see it like as a parasite, and it lives from keeping that illusion alive, it makes us angry. I make my decision. It's me. What are you talking about? It's I. Of course, I experienced my childhood. Yeah, so that, and this kind of, or the narrative self says, this is philosophy. I've heard this before. I haven't understood this, and it makes like some fog. You get tired, or you kind of give up, or it's like, this is just talk, and it's, there is the I, and it makes like some smoke, so that it can hide. It's not deep philosophy, that level where I'm talking now. So in this meditation now, it's very simple. All we will do is, we will take some time to reconnect, and then we are just using the word I, me, and myself, and you just feel, where does it land? I, me. And then we can maybe exaggerate this a little bit by what do other people think about me? Yeah, so kind of putting a bit fire under that, because the strength, the solidity of the contraction is different in different situations. Yeah, it is there right now somewhere. Like I am meditating. The proof is the body is here and there's experience, so there must be the I. So it's the I. I am meditating. Yeah, but if I would say, you're really stupid, you have to get it now. You have been listening for this for 2 years, so now it's time, I mean, I have to go home. Then, and so then that I'm stupid. I'm stupid. Yeah, and then it might have some kind of flavor also, like I'm not good enough. So there's then also the felt sense of the body is different. It's different than the I am so happy I, or I am so wonderful I. It's still the I, but it has sometimes it has different flavors. Yeah.
But still on this relative level.
Yeah, we are not talking about that.
We're not talking about.
No, we're not talking about. But I need to have a social self and things like that. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to sort of, because this here speaking.
This being, yeah.
This being, also with me and others, because in some way I'm not like, for example, physically from the perspective of Tina, for example. So there's some sort of difference, even if it's like
absolutely.
But is that just confusing it, or is
it's confusing it because it's not necessary now. But that's right, of course. The experience of this being, of this wave, is different than the experience of this wave.
Yes.
Yeah. What we are refuting here is that there is a separate, solid, singular I behind the experience of this being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So let's play. And if you don't get it, I hit you.
Who?
like a Zen master. So, since the exploration here is, in the felt sense of the body, of course, as with all the other meditations, it's necessary to drop into the body, to drop into the aliveness. And you can take the breath as an ally by sliding on the in-breath into the body, and then with the out-breath maybe softening and letting go. Also, with that you bring the inner dialogue out of the focus, so it goes into the background where the bells are. And you allow the body, the heart and the mind to settle. And rest. Softening the belly, the shoulders. Just being aware, just noticing. Notice in the body there's parts which are more open and flowing and parts which are more tense or numb, and you just allow. You find a yes to the present moment experience. This is how it is. And then we just using these 3 words, and maybe you can use similar words in your mother language, Swedish or whatever it is. So you just say quietly to yourself, firmly, I, me, myself, and you pause. And then you just observe, where does that land? And you say, I. What do they think about me? And you just notice. Me, I, myself. So what is the referent object of that word? Meaning, what is it what you call like that? I. I have a body, I have thoughts, I have feelings, I make my decisions, I. I have feelings. There's feelings, there's a mood, but there is an I having that mood. I, me, myself. And how does that appear? So now we cut your body into two halves. Imagine that, like around the navel. So the sense of I, where is it located? Is it in the lower or in the upper part? If you need to choose. It can be quite vague in the beginning, yeah? But if you would need to choose, like someone would, with a chainsaw, cut your body into two pieces, where would be the I? So now we cut the head off. So where's the I, the me, the myself? If you need to choose. So that might differ slightly between people. Some people localize themselves more in the heart area, some more in the head area. So how is it for you? Where does the I, the me, myself, land? So remember, we are looking for that singular, permanent, separate I. So now, just be aware that there is awareness of the I. Of the self. I, me, myself. There's awareness of that. You see that. So then, letting go of this investigation, going back to more spaciousness, sensations, feelings, thoughts, sounds. Whatever your experience right now is. And you notice that you're aware of all of that, including some residues of the contraction of the I, the me, myself, that you're aware of all of that. That there's awareness of all of that. There's awareness of this being, which is a process, changing, moving, which is connected with everything else, an open system without boundaries. And you're aware of that. Or there's awareness of that. And then you rest. So now imagine how it would be if the contraction of the I, the me, myself, and the self-referential dialogue, which is constantly going on. What about me? This, what does it with me? I hope it's good for me. It's probably bad for me. Yeah, that kind of me. What about me talk? If that would drop, if you could put down the burden, how would it be if this moment would be experienced by nobody? Feelings, thoughts, sensations happen. Happen to nobody. Imagine the space in the body, in your heart, in your mind, if the constant self-referential worries would cease. So unfortunately, it's not enough to see this once, but for most people it is a gradual thinning of this contraction, which might take a few years. So that's and that's a bit challenging for us, because at one point intellectually you will have a clear understanding there can't be something as a solid, permanent, separate I. So intellectually you get it, but it's not felt like that. So one has to go through this process of looking for that I and not finding it again and again and again. And with that you thin out that contraction. And you will notice that you are hitting the right target, that you have a decrease of self-referential talk. It just gets quieter there. You just lose a bit of interest in, I did this, I did that, what did they do, what for me, let tell me what how wonderful it's just, you lose interest. Initially it is quite shocking at one point to become aware how much of the internal talk is about me. What do I do tomorrow? What did I do yesterday? What did I say? I shouldn't have said this. It goes on and on and on and on. It occupies so much of our creativity, of our time to think about something constructive. For example, to think about others. Yeah, this what I said towards the end. Be aware that there's awareness. This is a very important insight. So to understand that what you are aware of, you can't be. This needs to be crystal clear for you. What you are aware of, you can't be. What you see, you can't be. What you feel, you can't be, because you are the subject of that feeling, of that thought, of that, and all of that. Whatever you can point to is an object. And you are the one who's pointing. So if that is clear to you, that what you are aware of can't be you, because it's an object of awareness, then, wow. Then it becomes a bit more difficult actually to make this shift. And you can't describe it in words. So, yeah, you can't. So that's why in a lot of Buddhist teachings, they never talk about the true self or something like that. Yeah, they just say what you are not. The Heart Sutra style of the teachings. Neti. You are not this, you are not that, you are not this, you are not that. You are not what you are aware of, you can't be. What you see, you aren't. And this can be pointed out. And then they stop. That's it. Because when you start to talk about the subject, then you make the subject again into an object. You can't be aware of awareness. So if someone would say, yeah, I think I get it. I become aware of awareness. Yeah? Then again, okay, then you have an object, so that's awareness. But what is aware of awareness? That's what you, so where are you looking from? Where is the looking coming from in the recognition of the nature of mind? So you try to turn around with your awareness, looking into the source. And you turn the source into an object, and it becomes a kind of God or something like that, or primordial consciousness, or all kinds of words. So we turn the subject again into an object and try to find it. And we are trying to find it with that which we are. So that's why in a lot of Buddhist teachings, differently to some Advaita Vedanta teachings or so, they don't talk, they wouldn't say you are awareness or something like that. Because it's misleading. What you can find, you are not. What you know, you are not. You are that which is looking through your eyes, and you can't see your own eyes. Where are my eyes? But there must be eyes, right? Otherwise there wouldn't be light. But they can't become an object. My eyes, for me. Nevertheless, they are there. Someone wants to set me straight? Maybe there's some inconsistency in what I've said, or initially one can, this kind of, what is awareness and who is aware. So if that's not kind of leading into you, it doesn't make sense to you, just drop it. Just be aware of what you're not. That's it. It's a valid. That's actually the majority of the Buddhist teachings. Goes the via negativa. That's the Heart Sutra, Paramita, pointing to what you're not. And then goodbye. Yeah.
Is it also like common, even on this level, to just say there's no consistent self or I, even if we don't go into like emptiness, still that it can be scary?
Absolutely.
So there's this like, first, it's not this sort of, started this reflection about, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
A bit like more uncomfortable than, but so do it. And then something else, like it's more, Yeah, but this is what I keep reinvent. So to balance, I guess it's similar to be ready to, or that you have to be able to hold it.
That's right.
Or,
that's right. Yeah.
But I guess this being takes care of that as well. I guess that I won't.
Yeah,
see
but
it
again, it's good to. I mean, before you go get into this kind of teachings, like if you go into a progressive path into the Lamrem, you do a lot of stuff before. You do preliminary practice. You do like all this stuff, and you learn all the lists, what is, and you kind of build something, yeah. And so you, in a way, you could say, as we said with the creating a container which can hold your pain. In the same way, in the progressive path, you build a container which can hold that experience, and it is because the seeing of no self can break into the life of people unprepared. I met a few people like that, and some of them they ended up in a psychiatric hospital because it can be very, very challenging if you don't have a frame to interpret or to handle that kind of experience. It's death. And this is exactly what is going to happen in the death process. This dissolution of everything what you think you are will be taken away. Yeah. So it's for some people the kind of fear and the shrinking is one of the main responses to the meditation of no self. And for many people, it's a bit of a mixture. Yeah? So there's fear and shrinking, and I don't want to do this. And there's also relief and joy. Yeah? So it's both. And it's very few people who kind of jump into bliss, yeah? Immediately. Any questions about this? Then we continue with the text. So this is a good daily mindfulness practice, to just be aware of the contraction of the self. And I know that all of you have plenty of opportunities all the time where me.
I think it's a bit complicated when I think about people like a person that I admire a lot, like my grandmother. I so much like what she was and what she, my imagination about her and her being.
Mm-hmm.
And that I'm like, it's empty. I'm making it up.
You can enjoy a rainbow, and there's nothing there. So it doesn't take away anything. So this is so the recognition, the experience of emptiness does not devalue things. Actually, they become even more awesome. they become more magical, more breathtaking, because they lose their solidity and their so in the recognition of the emptiness of a person, there is actually more closeness. In the recognition of the emptiness of your grandmother, you experience that she never died. That she is super close. And it doesn't deny the experience or the memories you have. So nothing is being taken away except the grasping. That's being taken away. We can enjoy each other much more from no one to no one. Really. I can't really meet you if there's an I here and there's an I there, and I try to get closer, yeah. But in the experience of emptiness, of no self, we can be together. We meet. We can't find our boundaries. It's very intimate. It becomes very intimate, and there's also there's less. Or at one point, there's no defensiveness. So you can be really open to another person. Because you're looking from openness into openness. So it's a misunderstanding when emptiness leads into the study or the meditation on emptiness. If it leads into a kind of nihilism, or then nothing has meaning, or it doesn't matter what I do, or something like that, it's actually the opposite. So when we come to the conclusion like that we lose something, then it is a sign that we have fallen into the abyss, into the extreme. It's wonderful if one can relate to a deceased person as someone who was never born and never died. Nothing is lost. Yeah, so a little bit. So we just covered the text this weekend, which is very good. Then we will continue with the next chapter in the book and in our online meetings. So the first 7 was Tonglen, and now comes the last one. Without these practices being defiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns. So the 8 worldly concerns, that's the strategies of the narrative self. Yeah? I will mention them. So without these practices being defiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, by perceiving all phenomena as illusory. So that's emptiness. Perceiving all phenomena as illusory. Perceiving all phenomena like a dream, like a rainbow. Sometimes people hear, are you saying like wars are just an illusion, or climate change is just illusion and we don't need to do anything? That's a misunderstanding of of emptiness. It's serious, really serious, more serious than we want to admit, but not really. Not really. And that's like difficult to get together. To understand that you will be actually much more part of the solution if you take it less serious. And completely serious, because you can afford to take it seriously. You can afford to look at the facts. You can stand it without falling into an abyss of despair. So it's a misunderstanding of emptiness when we see this, oh, all phenomena is illusory, so they don't really exist. They exist. Yes, they exist. It's real, but not really real. And somehow, in the space of taking things less serious, there's much more creativity. If you take climate change seriously, that will swallow you up. I mean, there's no hope. If you take it as illusionary, then there will be the creativity of doing something, what you can do, of contributing. Plus, of course, there will be less comfort-seeking, less need to have possessions, so just that's the lifestyle, what you eat and so on, that just will change naturally. I mean, if you feel connected with everything. You're not going. You don't need to decide to be a vegetarian. Yeah, the let's say the true self just doesn't eat meat. Doesn't make sense. So by perceiving all phenomena as illusory means perceiving all phenomena as empty, as vividly appearing, but unfindable, as having any substance from its own side. Like a rainbow, like a dream. I will practice without grasping. Yeah, so what falls away is grasping. I will practice without grasping. I will practice without grasping to release all beings from the bondage of the disturbing, unsubdued mind and karma. So the strategies of the narrative self, the 8 worldly concerns, that's quite interesting, because when we become aware of them, we become aware of this prison of the narrative self. Yeah? So this is delight at receiving money and possessions, and dejection at not receiving or losing them. So this is the grasping for money and possession and the fear of losing. That is one strategy of the narrator self. So, and it creeps into our practice, of course. It's always two pairs, so it's 4 pairs. Then the second one is delight with receiving praise and approval, and dejection when receiving criticism or disapproval. So this is, I mean, if just that would drop, just that one thing, feel the freedom of not caring of what other people think. It's wonderful. It's such a joy. To stop to be a hunter for praise, for being loved and being liked, and so what can I do? What can I say that people like me? Yeah, it's so stressful. It's such a prison. Delight with receiving praise and approval, and really rejecting any criticism and disapproval. And this is protecting the I, the me, that which does not exist. The third one is in the same kind of, so delight with fame and good reputation, and dejection when infamous and notorious. So wanting to have fame and good reputation, and rejecting not being. So it's a bit similar, these two. It's about what other people think. I hope you notice, since we're all getting older, yeah? When I came to Göteborg the first time, I was a young man. Now I'm old. And you too. So I hope you notice that there is something relaxing in that category. Yeah? Like it's not as bad as 10 years ago. Yeah? Just more resting in yourself and being yourself. I'm looking forward to the moment, what happens, what comes out of this mouth when I don't care anymore at all. Wow, that song, that poem, that's beautiful. And when you notice that in other people, it's so wonderful. Other people who have a bit more freedom in that corner than yourself. So, and then the last one is delight with pleasurable sights, sounds, smell, taste, and tangible objects, and dejection with those that cause unpleasant feelings. Yeah, so that's us, running from one pleasant experience to the next. And bringing that also into our spiritual practice. So becoming aware of that. Yes, a bit part of my intention in my practice is actually still to feel better, to have nicer experience. And that's the 8 worldly concerns. It's not really spiritual practice at that point. It's just what everyone else does, trying to feel better for me. Trying to have better experiences, better feelings. Okay, so let's have a break.